Edition of UBC News Tonight on this 5th day of September 2024. I'm Lauryn Masaka Kazimoto, and we start off with the first headlining story this evening. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has urged Criminal Investigations Directorate to speed up with investigations in cases other than letting court to grant bail to offenders on grounds of delayed trial. The president says he sees no need to grant bail to offenders if investigations are done, but to commence with the full trial of the case. He communicated this during the closure of a two-day annual general meeting of CID and Office of the DPPs at CID headquarters in Chibuli.
Our chief guest arriving.
The Criminal Investigations Directorate, together with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, have completed the two-day annual general meeting under the theme, Contribution to the Socio-Economic Transformation of Uganda. In his speech at the closure of the ceremony, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni emphasized the need to further embrace technology and the use of digital systems.
Therefore, I would want to advise you people, make use of technical solutions. Discuss them thoroughly. Don't bring business groups, people are lobbying for businesses, then you become their agent. You, instead of being a police officer, you are now an agent of business people. Get the technology. So whenever I get some of this technology, my first question is, can it work? Is the science correct?
President Museveni also reiterated the need to deny bail to offenders. With this, the president asked the CID to speed up investigations, other than letting court grant bail to offenders on grounds of delayed investigations.
The issue of bail, because this issue of bail, if the case is ready for trial, I think is really a big mistake. I can understand if the case is not yet ready for bail, after 6 months, you can think of bail. But if the case is ready for trial, why do you not try it and finish it? Especially if it is a case of murder or corruption, like in the case of these politicians, or rape or treason. Why do you concentrate on, even for the accused? I would want to say, you try me quickly and I prove my innocence. So I think the Attorney General should see how to help us on the issue of bail. The Chief Justice, through Chief Justice's instruction, had clarified that applying for bail is a right. You can apply. But granting bail is not a right. It is a decision by the judge.
President, however, applauded the head of CID for the new facelift at the headquarters.
Thank Magambo for this effort of trying to make you belong to Uganda.
Minister for Internal Affairs General Kahinda Otafire addressed to the president the need to enhance the problem of inadequate housing of police officers and the need to increase the CID budget.
He should know that there is a need for adequate housing for these agencies. And you remember I promised you to increase the manpower, CID. Your Excellency, CID is understaffed.
The Director CID Tom Magambo highlighted the need for more support in addressing cybercrime in the country. In line with the curbing crime, he requested for a crime data analysis center at the CID.
That we also have elements within the criminal networks who are now taking a habit of intimidating, threatening our officers. We have been trying to improve on the process of getting this crime data in time and utilize it to guide decision making. So we want to request you to support us to put up a crime data analysis center.
The head Director of Public Prosecution, Lady Justice Jane Francis Abodo, revealed their focus on prosecution, terrorism and corruption cases.
We are focused now on the war on corruption, on terrorism cases. That is the focus of the Office of the DPP and the CID. Your Excellency, I've realized that once you want a land matter to die, you actually take it to court. Because once it comes to court, then it stays in the system for 10 years, 15 years, and then the rightful people of land actually lose out. So why don't we handle some of these cases in the villages?
The president, however, concurred with the idea of Lady Justice Abodo of handling land issues at a village level.
I like the ideas of Justice Abodo, like the land issues being handled promptly, locally, instead of fighting lawyers and so on. That's you study Abodo's idea.
As the next general elections draw close, the chairperson of Uganda Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, warned the candidates against commercialization of elections.
I've been decrying as a commission, we have been decrying the malpractices that take place during elections, which are a threat to our democracy. Commercialization of elections, that is a terrible thing. I'm told now for you to contest for parliament, you must have a minimum of 500 million shillings, which is not acceptable. And much of this money, I'm told, goes to bribe voters. Bribery is an offense under the electoral laws.
The Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka emphasized the need to make some amendments in laws, among other human enforcement acts.
Rule in 23.4 is saying bring the person before the court within 48 hours. You don't have to charge. You go to the judge, you say, I have person A in my custody. I believe he has committed an offense. I have this much evidence, but I have 3 or 4 areas that I must check. I am asking you, my Lord, don't release this person from our custody. Allow us to detain them longer. The purpose of that law was for you to account to the court for purposes of habeas corpus, to make sure that once you present him before the court, then that person is under the custody of the court.
Amwaiva Njuko and Deborah Namamonde for UBC.
The National Council for Science and Technology is witnessing a significant increase in research proposal submissions compared to previous years, according to Dr. Martin Ongol, Executive Secretary of the Uganda National Council of Science and Technology. They previously received around 80 to 90 research proposals annually. However, this number has surged to between 700 to 800 proposals each year.
National Council for Science and Technology, mandated to support and regulate scientific research, technological innovations and product commercialization, is now handling more research proposals than ever before.
The number of research proposals have increased, and before we used to have like around 80 or 90 per year, but now we are moving to the level of about 700, 800 per year. And not only has there been an increase in the number, but also in the complexity of the work that needs to be done.
In response to this development, the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology, along with the Uganda National Health Research Organization, the National Drug Authority, the University of Oslo in Norway, and Jimma University in Ethiopia, is implementing the Access to Africa project. This initiative aims to strengthen research regulatory systems by addressing delays in regulatory and ethical review processes.
Research, it's mainly on drug development, getting in new drugs. As you know, they are new and emerging diseases. There is need to develop better methods for treatment, and also need to come with better systems for diagnosing diseases. So especially in the health research, these are the core areas.
Professor Rosemary Barnabe, coordinator of the Access to Africa project from the University of Oslo, emphasized the importance of building relationships within the Eastern Africa Consortium for Clinical Research. She also highlighted the value of learning from the Forum for Ethics Review Committees in the Asian and Western Pacific regions to enhance research in sub-Saharan Africa.
So Access Africa 2 is a project that deals with not only strengthening capacities but also understanding gaps of where regulatory and ethics review capacities overlap, or maybe there's a gap in there. Right? So it's all about understanding where the gaps are, and doing things to ensure that we can contribute, not only to addressing the gaps but also promoting regulatory and ethics environment when it comes to human studies such as clinical trials in Uganda and in Ethiopia.
Representatives from Uganda's research regulatory agencies stressed the importance of continued collaboration to ensure research safety, transparency and accountability.
The National Curriculum Development Center, NCDC, has disseminated 10 new junior certificates for technical and vocational education and training TVET institutions. Gule Wabomba, manager of the TVET department at NCDC, hailed this development as a timely game changer that will enhance the competence of TVET graduates, promote job creation and drive Uganda's development in the 21st century. This event took place at Kololo SS in Kampala.
Unlike the previous curriculum, this new program integrates industry training to provide real-life skills and strengthen connections with potential employers.
Within the curriculum, we have a fully-fledged module of industrial training. These students are supposed to get attached to industries while they are still undergoing training. In that way, they are going to get connected to the world of work. Sometimes, if they perform very well, they get booked by the employers, such that when they finish their courses, they can go back for work.
The new curriculum also emphasizes continuous assessment, replacing the old system where assessments were conducted only at the end of the year.
We are encouraging as much as possible continuous assessment. In the previous, a student would join an institution and is assessed at the end of the year. Something someone has done all throughout the year is assessed in about 2-3 hours only. But here we are going to have continuous assessment.
Each curriculum consists of modules, and upon completion of a module, learners are awarded certificates which can be presented for employment opportunities.
So we have segmented all curriculum in such a way that someone can do a smaller unit. He goes to the field, he survives. Then when he's challenged, he's free to come back. And this has now helped that even people who didn't have enough finances to support the 3 years, he can come and do only 1 semester, is equipped enough to survive. So he goes and maybe works for 3 months, or maybe 1 year, he gets money, comes and pays for another semester. And these people are given 5 years to complete a 3-year course.
The new curriculum focuses on job creation with entrepreneurship and ICT at its core, empowering learners to create opportunities independently rather than seeking jobs.
But more so, I will be assessed at 80% the things that I can do, not what I can say, not the statements I can produce out. So even when I don't know much English, but I can do, I will benefit in this curriculum as compared to the previous curriculum that you needed to do a written practical. The previous curriculum was based on course units. Like you needed to, it was a spiral. This curriculum, you can study for 1 semester and you go to the field. and we don't demand that you come back and complete, though we promote that someone should complete, but you can study in what? In phases.
Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
Journalists have been urged to prioritize community-based stories centered on ordinary people to create opportunities for positive change through the news. This message was emphasized during a handover ceremony for Knight Ampurire, who was gifted a 1-year fuel card and repairs for her recently donated vehicle as part of the second phase of the Chigwera Kushel scheme held in Chitende, Kampala. We have the details.
MTN Uganda Telecommunications recently donated a brand new Nissan pickup truck to Knight Ampurire, a single mother of 5 and a resilient entrepreneur who has been selling fruits from an old vehicle nicknamed Ganyegenya. Her story captured the attention of several organizations, including Vivo Energy Uganda, which stepped in to ensure her continued success and safety on the road.
Ekyo twagenda okulaba ng'emmotoka ezze naye ate ayina obuzibu bw'ogiteekamu amafuta. N'ekyo ntugamba ffe nga Shell engeri gye tukola mu mafuta katumuwa amafuta ag'omwaka n'emmotoka tugimukolera service yanobe akolegwa kuyiribira nga.
Knight Ampurire expressed her delight after Vivo Energy Uganda awarded her 1-year fuel card, vehicle service and other benefits. Joanita Mukasamenya, who handed over the gifts on behalf of Shell, emphasized that this kind of support would ensure continuity and efficiency in Knight's business. She further urged journalists to prioritize community-based stories to create opportunities to individuals change their lives.
We completed the step. So for me it was an opportunity to complete her dream because she had gotten the car, but because MTN does not deal in fuel, it was an opportunity for me to come through and support her with the fuel. And looking at her story and speaking to her, for me it's a life-changing opportunity. And for the generations to come, her children and children's children, I think they'll always remember that. So it's an honor for me to reward Knight with the fuel, because I think it was also a cost, because giving her the car came with a cost of fuel that I don't think she had anyway. So for me, it's an absolute honor to support her with that cost and lift that burden off her so that she can raise her 5 children.
In her remarks, Knight Ampurire thanked Shell and encouraged others to prioritize ethics and humanity. The Shell-wide scheme, now in its second phase, offers prizes including school fees and other rewards for fans. Susan Nabugudde, Michael Bakablendi for UBC News.
The Minister of State for Disability Affairs, Asamo Helen Grace, has advised on inclusive community education and learning attitude within the citizens to enable the 24% illiterate Ugandans learn how to read and write. Asamo cited this while at a presser for the forthcoming International Literacy Day.
As Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Literacy Day, Minister of State for Disability Affairs highlighted the need to address low literacy levels, particularly among adults who feel they are past school age.
It's true. Uganda's policy is everybody to go to universal primary education, but you know it's also a choice of you to go. So there are people who decide to say, I have already grown big, I can't go to school. But we have seen some people say we shall go to school. So these people, the 24%, are among those ones who think that the school is not theirs.
Asamo highlighted the increasing dropout rates in community education initiatives, even with joint efforts positioned in several structures like functional adult learning.
We have the integrated community learning for wealth creation. We call it Ikole program in the ministry, launched in 2016 with support from DVV. This is a Dutch organization on adult education, international. Ikole was piloted in 6 districts to link literacy and numeracy with livelihood skills. business training, and community development.
However, it has been collective effort with several partners complementing the government's initiative to provide education for all.
Various NGOs, faith-based organizations, and community-based organizations support government efforts through a standalone on integrated literacy and education projects. Organizations like DVV International, Caritas Uganda, Advent Development Relief Agency complement government efforts with targeted education literacy and development programs.
The International Literacy Day event that is slated to take place on the 8th of September is aimed to raise awareness and mobilize efforts to reduce Uganda's literacy gap. Kain Faith, Komagum Rogers for UBC.
The Equal Opportunities Commission has called on the government to establish an institutional framework and formulate a national policy to address the emerging issues faced by ethnic minorities in Uganda. This appeal was made during a stakeholders' engagement on the inclusion of Uganda's indigenous ethnic minorities held at the Equal Opportunities Commission headquarters in Kampala.
Of Uganda mandates the state to take affirmative action in favor of marginalized groups based on gender, age, and disability to address imbalances within communities. However, many groups still face social marginalization, limiting their access to essential services.
A refugee life in our own country. That is the life we are living. And we are nowhere to put our voice to be heard.
We have mixed race that are mixed of Indians and Arabs and Somalis, and we are all categorized in same group, which is not good.
That Maragolis are Ugandans, and the Minister of Justice should expedite the process of including them. Actually, nothing has been done.
The King of Banyabindi, Isebantu Elisa Mugisa, expressed concern that political leaders often recognize ethnic minorities only when it serves their interests.
When we see the politicians coming during the political season to say that Banyavindi are their people. Oh, you are our friends and your committees because you are representing us for equal opportunities. Be given a special grant so that we also compete favorably with our fellow members in the communities where we live.
The issue of indigenous ethnic minorities remain a global and national challenge. The Equal Opportunities Commission hosted a discussion with various stakeholders to explore ways to address these challenges.
And shaping public opinion and attitudes. The media, through its reporting, can put a spotlight on critical developments that impact negatively and positively on people's lives, as well as bringing before issues that are often ignored and voices that are marginalized. The media's agenda-setting function often influences debate, thinking, and priorities within society.
They emphasized the need for creation of institutional frameworks to address the issues faced by ethnic minorities.
Establishing a national council for ethnic minorities as a platform to advocate for their concern. In addition, there is need for government to include in the civil service structure a position for an officer who will be specifically assigned the duty of attending to the issues of ethnic minority, like it was done for the other special interest group.
The Equal Opportunities Commission is mandated to eliminate discrimination and inequalities among individuals or groups based on sex, age, race, color, and ethnic origin, and to take affirmative action in favor of marginalized communities. Suzanne Nabugude, Michael Bakablindi for UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Now, for decades, the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services has struggled to meet the growing demand for blood across the country. To tackle this, they partnered with the Indian Association of Uganda, where they launched a mega blood donation drive nationwide. Today, one such event was held at Winworld Impex in Kawanda.
Winworld Impex, together with the Indian Association of Uganda, organized a blood donation drive aimed at collecting 400 units of blood from workers and the surrounding community. This initiative highlights the importance of corporate social responsibility in addressing critical needs like the blood shortage crisis.
We'd like to thank all donors for coming today to donate blood. This is our second time here. The first time we were here, it did us great, and today we're expecting over 400 people to donate blood. Those are 400 units. We have already gotten 157 units so far, and it's a good turn-up. I believe by the time we close, we shall have gotten over 400 units.
Through their corporate social responsibility activities, they aim to give back to the community. This blood drive is just one of their many initiatives. They have provided scholarships worth 300 million shillings to support education in Uganda.
Today we did a launching of ceremony of Soratia Foundation. Soratia Foundation will support various initiatives like education scholarship, health program, food distribution, community support, assistance for the local authority, and support for the deaf children in various orphanages.
The blood donation event was attended by the Indian High Commissioner to Uganda, further strengthening the collaborative ties between the two countries.
Now, the Indian Association and the Indian High Commission mission here is to help the real needy and the poor on blood donation drive or heart surgery program or many other welfare services.
Richard Nshimye, head of human resource, Winworld Impex, says Indian investors have created employment for over 700 Ugandans. By organizing events like this, they contribute not only to economic growth, but also to the well-being of their communities.
Through the group of companies, we do what we call recycling of plastic scrap, where we clean the environment. We put plastic scrap away from the environment and make products that are usable to people in the country and also outside the country. We have about 700 employees, and we expect to grow the number to maybe 1,000 in the coming 3 years. These employees are taken care of well here at the company.
This partnership aims to make significant impact in reducing blood shortages in Uganda, ultimately saving lives.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day. Yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Omwoleso gaggadde ogutumiddwa East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo 2024 guguno nga wakubeerawo ennaku z'omwezi 8 n'ennaku z'omwezi 9 omwezi gwa Novemba 2024 wansi w'omulamwa okuwagira ebyobulambuzi ng'engeri y'okutumbula obumu n'enkulaakulana awo ku WTM London ku Rembrandt Hotel 11th PI South Kensington London SW7 2RS United Kingdom. Tickets abasuubuzi mukyasasula £100 ate abaneetaba mu mwoleso bakyasasula £300 okumanya ebisinga okuba ku simu kasaraba 256 787 096 100 oba kasaraba 254 795 806 969 kyali ya www.eaukTourismExpo.com okwewandiisa.
The Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and the UPDF, in conjunction with the Ministry of Internal Affairs and other sister security agencies, present the first Kampala Defense and Security Expo in memory of the late Honorable General Arunda Nyakairima as we celebrate his selflessness, bravery and Pan-Africanism. Activities will include an exhibition, memorial lectures by distinguished speakers, and Thanksgiving prayers to crown the 3-day event. The keynote speaker will be the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The event will take place from 10th to 12th September 2024 at the Commonwealth Resort Hotel at Munyonyo. For more details on the accreditation process for this event, please call the UPDF's Head of Protocol on 0772 696070 or 0757 999544.
Fellow gentlemen and ladies in the struggle, our country Uganda must be free.
Uganda fire! Ediba fire! Our border fire!
Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again?
Fire!
While you were moving in wet, you were the 12th player when Uganda Cranes needed you the most.
Fire! Take the banner!
Through our famous wins against Tubakunda and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder.
Fire, fire.
Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Banyeta ko Muhangi Donata, the chairperson wa group.
I am the chairperson of this group that got money. The group is called Kalsandala HIV/AIDS Craftswomen Group. UWEP gave us money in 2017 and they gave us 3.3 million Ugandan shillings. We used it in 1 year and got 23 million out of it. We do baskets and kitchen gardens, and we also have a saving group. We thank UWEP because this money helped us as women. Women can now educate their children and build houses because many of them are single mothers. We work without jealousy because we want to leave a legacy that even those who will be around tomorrow will appreciate.
All right, and now into the business scene. 9 out of 12 women with small and growing businesses are to benefit from a seed fund of $20,000, approximately 74 million shillings, under the Mkazipreneur by the NSSF High Innovator Program. The selected businesses that met the investment committee's criteria represent diverse sectors including agriculture, processing, skincare, food and luxury foods.
Nine women entrepreneurs have been selected to each receive $20,000 from the NSSF High Innovator Bold Women Cohort. This follows a funding pitching exercise by 12 women-owned businesses in agriculture, fashion and beauty, waste management, and digital economy.
We know what women entrepreneurs want. They need access to cheap capital, right? And the banks, most of the banks are not addressing this problem. We said let's come up with a program with skill, but we also give money at the end. So this today embodies what defines unlocking capital and cheap financing for our women entrepreneur.
Now in its 4th year, the High Innovator Bold Women Cohort by Mkazipreneur is designed for women entrepreneurs in Uganda seeking to expand their business development knowledge, increase their impact measurements, and financial management skills, among others.
The $20,000 is coming in here to, of course, bridge the gap that women entrepreneurs often face over their male counterparts in business.
We are going to expand the business. We plan to open up in Chanja, in Nigeria, in Entebbe, because we have so many customers calling in those areas, and many times they are limited by transport costs.
With this funding, we are pretty sure we will be able to supply as much as we can and reach out to as many women out there and businesses as possible.
The program is implemented in partnership with GIZ African Union Aware Project. Sarah Reinhard is the advisor for gender and communications at GIZ African Union.
Mkazipreneur kind of addresses all of these challenges, so financial literacy, registration of businesses, compliancy, social media marketing, skilling. They really kind of cover the whole bandwidth that women entrepreneurs need. And I believe that even if women don't unlock money today, first of all, they have a chance in the next round, but also the skills that they've learned in the whole process by being part of the boot camp, everything is extremely beneficial, and we're super happy to be supporting this important work.
The 9 selected businesses that stand a chance to unlock about 74 million Uganda shillings from NSSF met the investment committee's criteria, which included demonstrating the potential to scale profitability and with the right technical and financial support, creating jobs and implementing sustainable business management systems. Mario Nawori and Dennis Sigoa for UBC.
Now, during a conference at Hotel Africana focused on tax incentives, tax policies and tax administration for Ugandan investors, Prime Minister Honorable Robina Nabanja reaffirmed the NRM government's commitment to collaborating with all stakeholders to establish a tax system that fosters sustainable economic growth and social inclusivity. The conference, organized by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, brought together key players from the manufacturing, ICT and tourism sectors.
The conference was lively with active participation from investors who voiced their concerns and challenges regarding their operations in Uganda.
Hotel tax, we pay swimming pool license, we pay restaurant licenses, we pay bar license. These are all paid differently.
Honorable Daudi Mijiriko emphasized the importance of the government focusing on attracting international conferences to boost investment. Meanwhile, Robert Kabushenga pointed out that while Uganda's policies are generally sound, instability arises when politicians frequently alter or override these policies.
We are trying to market Uganda as a destination of first choice for international meetings and conferences. Lately, we've been getting messages that are not very clear regarding supporting our hotels.
It's an area I have been farming. That place called Container Village is full of counterfeit products. How can you just enforce them? They come through the borders. They are cleared as imports.
Ramadan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting investors and addressing their concerns.
Right, Honorable, this is an area which we are working for, to ensure that we bridge and get the infrastructure in Kampala, Greater Kampala revamped. And since we are not visitors, we all know, you see what is going on now. Many parts of Kampala are now construction sites. And I want to assure you, we are going to construct all the infrastructure.
Honorable Evelyn Anite, the State Minister for Investment and Privatization, assured investors of the country's political stability, which she described as crucial for business operations. Honorable Henry Musasizi, the State Minister for Finance, responded to concerns about the high number of taxes on hotels, noting that there are over 27 different taxes that need to be addressed.
Earlier on, I did speak to my people that something for us without us is not ours. And so we can't be talking about policies, we can't be talking about private sector-led economy without talking to the private sector.
We elaborate more, but I think that is not a difficult decision to make. To add and subtract. I know we are already doing it with a view of terminating the many. I know we are already doing it.
The Prime Minister, Honorable Rebecca Nabanja, in her remarks, highlighted the significant progress Uganda has made in infrastructure, healthcare, education and human capital development. She also stressed the government's ongoing commitment to refining the tax incentive framework to maximize its effectiveness while minimizing revenue losses.
Of you, our stakeholders, to foster a conducive environment for investment and economic growth in this country. Uganda has witnessed substantial improvements in infrastructure. Like my PS said here, we have been able to connect this country on tarmac roads because of your taxes.
The Prime Minister urged Ugandans to take pride in their country and protect it with vigilance. Crispus Alinitwe, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
Headquarters in Kamocha brought together children of veterans to train them in securing self-help funds through the Grow Women Enterprises Group project. The initiative, funded by the World Bank through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, supports women entrepreneurs in various businesses.
Banks have been authorized to provide loans to women entrepreneurs, veterans, children, and associations like Jenga Taifa Uganda and the Uganda Military Children Network participated in the workshop.
Processing fee aguddewa tusaba kura ebyante ebyokusala ebibanja feta tubirina batatafe bafira mu ndalo.
Private sector foundation in Uganda ne Ministry of Gender ne bagamba banks mu Uganda ezituuka ku muntu wa wansi oba ku mukyala.
Irene Nachejwe, chairperson of Ushindi Sacco, expressed gratitude to the government for allowing veterans' children to use their association membership as loan security.
Leero fenga Ushindi Sacco twebaza bank yani twebaza ne Ministry of Gender ne government nti bakkiriza nti nga Ushindi Sacco tusobola okuteerayo akabega kuliko mayindinga bannaffe mu bank eri ne bafuna ssente zino.
Naguja Maria, chairperson of Jenga Taifa Uganda, thanked the President and General Salimu Sali for the opportunity provided, but highlighted the challenges faced by the veterans' children.
The President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, our grandpa, to help us as the children of the soldiers, at least for us, they reduce on the interest. But there are challenges we are facing as children of soldiers. So we request His Excellency and the team concerned look into our challenges, because most of us have businesses.
Nawebale Phoebe Tron of the Uganda Veterans Children Foundation urged the government and banks to simplify the loan application process for women entrepreneurs under the GROW project.
Sente zile za GROW zajja netuwulira bingi, sente za gavumenti, sente zajja kuyamba muntu wa wansi, zajja kuyamba bakyala, eziba zajja kuyamba bakyala mu butuufu. Emisoso emingi egyo tusaba gisooke giveewo.
Naguja also appealed to the government to assist women in accessing international markets and provide training in product branding.
The government to help us with market or marketing our products, such that we can get market from local ground to international ground.
Marketing itself is very good, but it also depends on the quality of your product. Oluse ebintu byetunda byokka. Ekiba kirina omutindo kijja kukola ki? So tutaddewo emisomo nga twagala tupostinge skills z'abakyala mu bintu bye bakola.
Crispus Arinitwe, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
The Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has launched its 2024 Africa Agriculture Status Report titled Harnessing the Private Sector for Food Systems Transformation in Africa. This was unveiled at the ongoing 2024 Africa Food System Forum in Kigali, Rwanda, whose goal is to chart a path for sustainable agriculture. We have more on this story.
The 2024 Africa Agriculture Status Report by AGRA seeks to redefine Africa's private sector by recognizing the vast array of micro, small and medium enterprises alongside the larger African-owned and mid-sized farms that play a critical role in shaping markets.
I commend the choice of this year's theme, Innovate, Accelerate and Scale, delivering food systems transformation in the digital and the climate era. This theme reminds us of our shared vision to scale up our efforts to transform our food systems.
The event, co-hosted by the Coalition of Implementers for Fertilizers and Soil Health and the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, and joint development partners, brought to light the pressing challenges and opportunities in securing Africa's agricultural future.
We will also be launching a D-Room. The D-Room is the place where we welcome private sector and private sector efforts. It's become a signature moment. We appreciate the number of institutions that have been part of setting up the D-Room. We have lots of partners that have been part of setting up the D-Room. And it's become a signature moment here, and that's the place where we hope the private sector can shine and step forward and tell us what they want to do to be able to move the agricultural sector forward. But also be able to tell us what they want to see differently, because this forum brings all of us together, governments, as you've seen, and leaders of the industry. So tell us what's not working that you'd like to see work differently.
Participants from across the continent stressed that sustainable agricultural transformation can only be achieved if African governments and African institutions take the lead. Also emphasized that the event is the importance of localized solutions, strengthening farmers' innovation and strengthening the last-mile delivery.
Its overarching goal is to mobilize all stakeholders, policymakers, private sector, academia, youth, women, and farmers to innovate, accelerate, scale the food systems transformation.
We continue to grow the forum from the 500 people when we started a while ago to now 5,000 people again here in Kigali. We had to stop registration. So we continue to appreciate the intensity and the support with which the government of Rwanda brings to this forum.
As Africa stands at a critical juncture in its agricultural journey, The discussions in Kigali, Rwanda have set the stage for a transformative action focusing on coordinated efforts, robust partnerships and sustainability. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Now, experts say China-Africa ties can be seen as a model for the South-South cooperation. The mechanisms developed by the Forum on the China-Africa Cooperation form the cornerstone of ties between the countries. Now, CGTN's Fao Yunfei explains how the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has developed over the past 24 years.
The hustle and bustle on the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway. It's a flagship project of the Belt and Road Initiative that has changed the lives of many ordinary citizens in Kenya. It's also a piece of infrastructure that has created jobs for local people. Since 2016, China has supported 100 Kenyan students with all-inclusive scholarships to study at a tailor-made training program at the Beijing Jiaotong University. Jamlake Wangi Karaoke is one of them.
The Mombasa-Nairobi Railways is a very good opportunity for me to not only work and make my active contribution towards the operation of the railway, but also an opportunity for me to, it's a service to my country.
Karaoke majors in civil engineering. He says as an international student in China, he bears the responsibility of not only learning professional skills, but also playing an active role in building the friendship between Africa and China.
Now that I've experienced both sides, now that I have an understanding of quite how things work here, how things work in Kenya, and I need to be able to provide what I will call transformative and visionary leadership in the entire makeup of the economy and the development agenda of Kenya and Africa at large.
According to the China International Development Cooperation Agency, China has trained more than 220,000 personnel for African countries, taking into account their actual needs. During the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation's Beijing Summit in 2018, President Xi Jinping announced 8 major initiatives in collaboration with Africa, aiming to enhance the labor skills of the youth.
I am confident that the baton of China-Africa friendship will be passed from one generation to the next, and that China and Africa, working together, will build an even more vibrant community with a shared future.
The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation is a mechanism for multipolar collaboration, bringing together members including China and 53 African nations, along with the African Union. In 2006, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Summit established a new type of China-Africa strategic partnership. In 2015, at the Johannesburg Summit, this became a China-Africa Comprehensive Strategic and Cooperative Partnership. In the 2018 Beijing Summit, the two sides agreed to build an even stronger China-Africa community of a shared future, raising ties to a new level. In September 2024, leaders of China and African nations reunite in Beijing to build new momentum to their ties.
History follows its own rules and logic. With similar fate in the past and a common mission, China and Africa have extended sympathy to and helped each other throughout all the years. Together, we have embarked on a distinctive path of win-win cooperation.
When it comes to cooperation, China says it follows the principle of sincerity and pursues the greater good and shared interests. China has remained Africa's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years, with a record-high trade volume of $282 billion in 2023.
Every country is unique, every culture is unique, every political system is informed by the people's culture and their history and their geography. It's important for Africans to understand that the Chinese don't attack conditions to our relationship.
The close ties are the backbone for the implementation of multiple development strategies between the China-proposed Belt and Road Initiative, AU Agenda 2063, and the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. As the world facing challenges like rising hegemony and power politics, wars and famine, China says it is committed to working with Africa to address the emerging problems. China and African countries share a long-lasting friendship that has stood through prosperity and adversity. The development of China-Africa relations has contributed to the growth of developing countries, allowing a more balanced international order.
中国始终是世界和平的建设者，全球发展的贡献者。
China has all along played its part in promoting world peace and development and upholding the international order. We call for increasing the representation and voice of developing countries in international affairs and support efforts to strengthen the South, a weak link in global governance system, as well as efforts to create synergy in South-South cooperation. We will continue the efforts to make the global governance system better represent the will and interests of the majority of countries, especially developing countries.
The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has provided a platform for member nations to increase the scope of cooperation and jointly safeguard international equality and justice.
And now into sports. Ugandan Olympic athlete Rebecca Cheptegei has passed away at a hospital in Kenya after suffering severe burns in a brutal attack by her partner. She was 33 years of age.
Ugandan Olympic marathon runner Rebecca Cheptegei tragically died on Thursday morning, 4 days after she was doused in petrol and set on fire by her boyfriend in Kenya. Cheptegei, who represented Uganda in the Paris Olympics, suffered burns covering more than 75% of her body in the horrific attack on Sunday. She succumbed to her injuries in the intensive care unit of Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, Kenya. The cause of death was reported as multiple organ failure. The Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, expressed deep regret over the incident, calling it an unfortunate tragedy.
We are indeed saddened. Yesterday we had discussions, and I was briefed by my minister that he had very good engagement with his counterparts in Kenya, and where the government of Kenya was trying to do all it could to take care of Rebecca, to transfer her to Nairobi for better care and attention. So we were hopeful that those efforts would yield fruits. But today, early morning, I received information from the General Secretary of the Federation of Athletics in Uganda, and they told me that unfortunately they couldn't transfer Rebecca to Nairobi. Her kidneys were failing, and ultimately she succumbed to the burns and the failures that came with that.
Actually, what makes them go to Kenya, some of them, is because of the issues of managers. It's one of the core issues, which I'm actually going to talk about it. But not that they're looking for training facilities. No. As far as I'm concerned, the world record holder, the Olympic champion, is here and trains in Uganda. And I'm talking about Joshua Cheptegei. When have you heard that Joshua goes to train in Kenya?
Those who saw Cheptegei in Paris describe her as a joyful person who loved both people and her country.
But it really is about us as human beings and in our societies and how we handle each other in relationships. And how the society has got to teach everybody else going into relationships about how to deal with other human beings, because violence among spouses is not a new thing, especially in our societies in Africa. So we know quite a bit about what happens with this, and it's either way, it's male and female.
We commensurate with the family of Rebecca Cheptegei, her colleagues she was training with and was competing with, all our siblings and our parents. We commensurate with them and the members of the athletics fraternity, because Rebecca Cheptegei has been one of our excellent athletes, an Olympiad, who was with us in Paris during this year's Olympic Games.
A report from local administrators indicate that Cheptegei and her ex-partner had been involved in a dispute over a piece of land. The minister emphasizes that the Athletics Federation, along with police, are actively investigating the incident. Cheptegei is the third prominent sportswoman to be killed in Kenya since October 2021. The Ugandan government is working with the Kenyan authorities to arrange for the return of her body for burial. Ngabo Amon, reporting for UBS TV.
And may her soul rest in peace. Action at the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games has witnessed Day 10 action with Uganda's swimmer Husna Kukundakwe doing wonders. We have the details on this story.
Uganda's swimming sensation Husna Kukundakwe has registered a major milestone after setting a new African record and personal best in the S8 50-meter freestyle at the Paris 2024 Paralympics.
This is a very, very tough race. The only strategy is to go out very, very fast, which I hope I did from the looks, but it felt fast, and it's a personal best. But of course, I wanted to score higher and maybe make a final, but that wasn't in the books for me. But I'm happy that it was a personal best in the end, yeah.
Husna, who finished in 5th position, completed the distance in an impressive 32 seconds and 12 microseconds, and despite completing 5th, can celebrate a feat that may stand a while.
Honestly, I was just mostly thinking about improving whatever is coming next in the race. The dive felt good. I feel like the underwater maybe could have been better, but putting that aside, I realized that was a mistake I made in the race, and the rest of the race, all I had to do was focus on just fixing that problem and making up for that.
This is Husna's second event at the Games after her 100 meters breaststroke, and now has one more to go when she contests the S8 100-meter butterfly on Saturday. Uganda's other representative, Piso Roma, is in action later today in the 400-meter T13 hits, while paralifter Dennis Mbazira will be in action on Saturday in the category 88 kilogram. Uganda sent 4 athletes to the Paralympics, with the other being David Emong, who competed in the 1,500-meter T46.
MTN Uganda, in collaboration with the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, has unveiled the new official jersey for the Uganda Cranes ahead of the highly anticipated upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
MTN and Uganda Cranes, FUFA, we have got the new jersey.
The jersey, which prominently features MTN's logo, signifies the company's unwavering support for the national team as they prepare for continental competition. The Uganda Cranes start its Group K 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualification trail with a game against South Africa this Friday before playing Congo-Brazzaville at home at Mandela National Stadium on Monday. Speaking at the ceremony, MTN Uganda's Chief Marketing Officer emphasized the importance of national pride and unity that the new jersey represents.
The jersey is a very important part of the passion and the patriotism of the country. So we really felt that we needed new jersey to bring new passion, new energy, okay, and new strength to the game. So for us, this is a very momentous day today. Okay, I'm sure FUFA also agrees. Okay, next matches that we play will be new colors, okay, new design. So we want also the team to come as a new team, okay, and a more exciting team and a more established team.
Federation of Uganda Football Association's EXCO member in charge of marketing, Rogers Biamukama, highlighted the strong partnership between MTN Uganda and Ugandan football.
There are 3 categories of the jersey. The match day jersey, which is what we've just seen here, will be 120,000 Uganda shillings. The replica jersey, category 2, will be 50,000 shillings. and the replica jersey category 3 will be 30,000 shillings.
The new jersey is available at the Federation of Uganda Football Association's merchandise shop and can also be accessed via MTN Momo, which comes with quick and easy delivery.
Nabomali High School has emerged champions of the second edition of the FUFA TV Cup, which concluded at FUFA Technical Center in Njeru. We have the details.
In the final watched by several high-profile football administrators, Nabomali High School beat Nganwa High School Kabohe 3-0.
So though we've lost, but we take it at heart, because when you go into the game, you expect two things. And among two things, there is a loss and a win. So I think it wasn't our day. But for this tournament, it was at least fair and very good. I totally appreciate the organizers because they've catered our players very well. They catered our staff, our coaches. So everything went on smoothly. Because I've been here for the whole week.
The goals were scored by Gerard Ochwo and a brace by Edwin Wokoli.
We have used the young players from Senior 1, Senior 2, Senior 3, but we thank God for this because it wasn't our expectations. At first, we were like, we are not going to make it, but I thank God that today, as we believe in God of beauty, it is all around us. So I trust in God and I believe in God that we have made it today. And this is what we wanted and this is what we aimed at before we started this game.
To be honest, first of all, I'm really excited about the victory. If at all you've been close to me and maybe saw the far I have come, you realize that it was not something that right now I can just take for granted. I'm really excited about this victory.
This year's FUFA TV Cup was run on the theme of excellence in academics and sports and attracted 65 schools from across the country.
Perfect, but what I wanted was to win the tournament, but it failed. Little that God gave me, I'm going with it, and I appreciate God for what has done for me.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this evening. I'm Lauryn Masaka Kazimoto, and on behalf of everyone who works tirelessly behind the scene, we wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. What? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development?